Welcome to another episode of the J&J Podcast. I'm Jamie,
This is Jameson.
and we want to welcome all our listeners in. Just a reminder that we are doing the podcast every other week until football season starts. So we want to, speaking of football, we want to go ahead and kick off this week's episode with the NFL. And hot topic for probably the next several weeks is where in the world will Micah Parsons end up? Or will he end up somewhere else? I know he's made that trade request. Jameson, I know you have some strong opinions about that. I'll let you start about with Micah Parsons.
Well, first off, I'm going to say, I remember explicitly you stated on the last podcast episode recorded, we were like, you remember the question was, what do you think is kind of a sleeper team? And the team that you're on, that you're looking out for heading into the NFL season. And you remember I said the Panthers and we both said the Cowboys. And part of the reason we said the Cowboys was and part of the reason we said the Cowboys, you literally said, you were like, what's scary is nobody's talking about them. Boy, has that changed.
Boy, has that changed.
So here's my thing.
So they're going to go right back to being mediocre.
Exactly. And here's my thing about the whole Micah Parsons deal. I can't blame the brother. It's like he's given them ample opportunity the last year and a half to 2 years to go ahead and sign him and give him a contract extension. And, you know, in his defense, he's probably looking at the market like TJ Watt just got paid from the Steelers. They didn't play around. They went ahead and secured him and locked him up. Micah Parsons is a top 3 to 5 defensive player right now in all of football. And it's like he's still young. I get it. He didn't have the craziest year last year, but even somewhat of a down year for him was still made him one of the best top 5 to 10 players in all of football. So my thing is CeeDee Lamb just got paid. Dak Prescott just got paid. Micah Parsons needs to get paid. It's like the Cowboys defense is already suffering heading into the year. So it's like, how in the world can you afford to lose somebody like Micah Parsons, who is just an absolute game changer? Like, he can single-handedly win you games on defense. And here's my thing. It's just another example of malpractice by Jerry Jones. And at this point, we always talk about it. I'm not even shocked at this point. Like, I'm honestly shocked that Micah Parsons didn't request a trade, honestly, quite sooner, because Jerry Jones just continues to play around. And when push came to shove, it's like, I'm happy for Micah Parsons. You got to go ahead and do what's best for you. And I'm going to go and say this, and I'll pass it over to you. I pray that brother ends up on the Ravens. Lord have mercy. If that brother ends up on the Ravens, or, you know, I could also see trying to trade for him, the 49ers. Lord have mercy. If they can pair up him with Nick Bosa, oh my God. Brock Purdy, all he's going to have to do is just not turn the football over, honestly.
All he have to do is literally hand the ball off.
It'll be you remember that the year where the Broncos won the Super Bowl, all Peyton Manning had to do was just come in and just throw slant routes the whole game, because the defense put him in prime position to score every possession.
It's Trent Dilfer all over again.
Facts.
With the Ravens.
Exactly, with the Ravens. Yep, defense will just carry. So there are a couple of destinations that I could potentially see him ending up with, but, you know, bias included, I would love to see him on the Ravens. I feel like, you know, they lost Patrick Queen. He could come in and just be literally dominant like he has been. Honestly, he might be an even better player on a different team, just being honest with you. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is Jerry Jones' MO. And this was the reason why for our listeners who don't know, we were diehard. Yeah. I'm talking about Cowboys through and through. I've been done with them now for about 4 years.
It's been longer than that.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, it feels like it hasn't been as long as it probably has been.
We stopped in like 2019 into 2018. So, but
yeah. So it's there were still moments where I'd kind of sneak and watch a little bit of their games, but then I was like, yep, nothing's changed.
Facts.
Jerry Jones still just a hype man, hype machine, doesn't plan on winning anytime soon. So this is his MO. Got one of the best players in the league, and you don't want to pay him. I mean, it's silly. Not surprised at all. I'm with you. I hope Micah Parsons ends up on a good team, and I hope whoever that team is, that when they play the Cowboys, they beat them by 40 points.
And you know the problem is, because I've heard people say like maybe they can work it out behind the scenes. When Micah Parsons has literally come public, posted on social media, posted on his TikTok, his Instagram, his Twitter page, it's like, I don't think he wants to play for the team. And it's like no matter how much you pay a player, if they're unmotivated to stay in that current situation, you're not going to get the best production out of him going
That's
forward. It's
right.
like I think that relationship is completely tarnished.
Speaking of a tarnished relationship, Terry McLaurin and with the Commanders, I'm like, so the two teams that everybody used to, at least on the East Coast,
Yeah.
everybody used to really love because those were the teams that you could actually watch, were the Cowboys, and it wasn't the Commanders back then.
Mm-mm.
But same kind of mentality apparently. Like, I don't understand why you don't pay Terry McLaurin. Like, it is ludicrous for this man to even be wanting to get traded.
Yeah.
That is your best option. He is your number one option. And I know you're going to talk a little bit about this. That's Jaden McDaniels' safety.
Jaden Daniels.
What I call him,
Yeah,
McDaniels.
you're thinking of an
Um,
NBA player.
I certainly am. That's Jaden Daniels' safety net. And not his safety net, not just his safety net, it's his everything. Let's just be honest. So, again, similar type of scenario, how you don't pay Terry McLaurin. And I mean, we know that this happens every year in the NFL, and there's certain teams that are going to try to, stick to their guns, and, not pay a player um, what they honestly should be paid and what they're actually worth.
Yeah.
These are two dudes who deserve to get paid, and they need to stop playing with their money.
Yep.
Your thoughts about Terry
I,
McLaurin?
I'll be honest with you, and I completely agree. Like what the Commanders got to realize is the grass ain't always greener on the other side, and I get it. You got Debo Samuel, but with all due respect, Debo Samuel's not. He's not a number one wide receiver anymore. He's borderline. He's borderline a number two receiver, and on some teams he'd be the third wide receiver. So it's like if you can't afford to lose Terry McLaurin. And here's my thing. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to have another good season. But, they always say sometimes whenever quarterbacks have that early success, in that second or third year is when, like, teams start to figure out how they can adjust to try to defend Jaden Daniels. Last year, there wasn't a lot of film and stuff on him because he was a rookie. It's like now teams will be able to prepare for Jaden Daniels. And then when he doesn't have his number one target who had over 1,300 receiving yards, over 13 touchdowns on the season, it's like that could stunt his growth as a player too. So it's like not only are Commanders fans going to be upset, but if I'm Jaden Daniels, it's like, bro, like, I know y'all just drafted me in. I think Jaden Daniels is their quarterback of the future, but it's like you got to give him some weapons and that are going to allow him to be successful. And it's one of those examples of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why in the world would you go off of a successful season like you had last year and then just try to mess things up? My thing is pay the brother. And I think the Commanders have been a little bit reluctant because supposedly the reports are saying that Terry was asking for over $30 million compared to DK Metcalf just got that. My thing is, with all due respect, as good as DK Metcalf is, Terry McLaurin has put up better numbers the last 2 years. So I think they just need to stop playing around and go and pay him. But if he was to get traded, could you imagine him on the Chiefs? Could you imagine him on a team like the Bills? Like, there are a lot of teams that will come knocking at the door to try to get Terry McLaurin. I'm telling you, it's like, I know he's over 30. I think he's going to be, 31 or 32 years old. But my thing is, pay him. And I think also, too, this might be, how sometimes during the negotiation process, I don't think Terry McLaurin really wants to ultimately leave the Commanders, but it's like if they're not going to pay him, I don't blame him. You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. So hopefully they can work it out, but I want him to get his money because this is probably going to realistically be the last big contract that he gets given his age. But your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think we completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just pay the man and stop playing games.
Yeah.
He's your best option to continue to have continued success. So I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift to the Chargers because Keenan Allen is actually back with them. I'm sure that's going to be a nice homecoming.
Yeah.
For him. I don't know. I mean, I still feel like Keenan Allen has a lot to offer. Still a lot left in the tank. But I don't know. I think it's a good move. I'm sure he's going to be comfortable. A lot of times when you get back to a situation where you've played before, the stadium, you feel comfortable in that environment. it's kind of where you've grown up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's going to, reap pretty good dividends for them.
Facts.
I just don't know how much Keenan Allen has left in the tank, although I think he still has quite a bit left in the tank if, his past couple of seasons are any indication.
And now he'll get to play with Harbaugh as well. It's like when he was there
That's a
last,
good
Harbaugh
point.
wasn't the coach. So I
Yep.
think that could be good for him, and it's just honestly going to be another weapon for Justin Herbert. To your point, it's not anything that really fully moves the needle. Like I think prime example is DeAndre Hopkins to the Ravens is a more impactful move. But to your point, though, I think Keenan Allen still has a lot left in the tank, and he can also be a good veteran for a lot of those young receivers that they have. So overall, I really do love the move.
What I'm trying to figure out though is the whole Teddy Bridgewater thing. Like what? Okay, let's start from the fact that I think the brother was just simply trying to do something good
He was.
with with the it was a high school football team,
Yeah, in
correct?
Florida.
In Florida. Um, I think he was trying to do the right thing. And listen, with all this NIL stuff going on, the fact that you would actually, for lack of a better word, punish a dude who's simply trying to help underprivileged kids
Yeah.
blows my mind. But with all that said, he's going back to the Bucks, going to the Bucks to be a backup quarterback. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm very
You
happy
know
for
what?
him.
I'm sure his mentality was, you know what? Forget all this. Later for all this, I'm gonna go play football
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get paid.
Yep. I don't blame him at all. And it's just sad though, like a brother just trying to do right by his people, look out for the community and stuff, and he just constantly caught flack. With that, this is another topic for another day, but it's like it's crazy the double standard sometimes. We can have a whole
Yes.
separate podcast about that. But I'm happy for the brother Teddy Bridgewater. He's dealt with a lot throughout his NFL career, but I've always been a huge fan of his, always
Hmm.
rooting for him. So I'm happy for him. It's like, brother, get paid, get your money. It's like he might not even play in a single regular season game this year, but he can just be there
But
as a
he's getting paid.
backup, get paid, and who knows? Like, I mean, clearly he was a great coach. They won their conference championship in his first year,
Hmm.
so it's like he
Hmm.
clearly was making an impact on that community, on those kids, on those players. So it's like, who knows? Maybe he can do this for another year or two, get some more money, and then just go be a coach somewhere else where they actually appreciate him and let him rock out. But I'm happy for him.
Well, the last thing I'll say about him is it could end up being a scenario where he's a backup this year, and they look at him and say, you know what? Maybe we'll look at him as being a quarterbacks coach.
Yep,
Um,
you never
you
know.
know, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it could be kind of an audition
Yeah, facts.
while he's sitting on the sideline because that's what a lot of the backup quarterbacks end up being anyway.
That happens all the
Um,
time. Or he could be
it
an
happens.
analyst. You just never know.
Exactly, exactly. So this next topic, Jamison, last one for the NFL, I'm gonna let you rock out because I know you have lots to say about this. I'll tag me in at the end, but I know you have a lot to say about this one. Shedeur Sanders is starting on Friday in the preseason game versus the Panthers, and I just found that very interesting, given that you've now already. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you do it. You take it, and then then I'll jump in. It's kind of like double dutch. Let me know when it's my turn.
Yeah. First off, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna just start by saying this. I'm sick to my stomach that I'll be out of town this weekend. Because if I wasn't, you can best believe I'll be at Bank of America Stadium. Perfect time and bust down AP on rocking with Shedeur Sanders. That's the first thing. Second thing is though, here's the thing. I'm excited to watch Shedeur Sanders in the preseason on Friday, but I honestly think as they've done from the start, they're setting him up for failure. And here's the thing. I think that the Browns are setting him up for failure, but Shedeur is still going to shine. I think it's going to get to the point where not only are the fans pushing for him to be a starter, but it's like it's just going to show from the actual film and just from his play out on the field that he deserves to be the starter right now. It's like if you look at that quarterback room, Deshaun Watson, who knows when he's going to play again, if he ever plays again. Joe Flacco is 78 years old. Like Joe Flacco played with Jim Brown back in the day on the Browns. This is his second stint with the Browns.
Right.
And then Dylan Gabriel has been just god awful so far from
I mean,
what I've been seeing
all
in training camp.
oh,
You remember even through the NFL draft, and we talked about this on the pod a couple months ago, but it was like it was a slap in the face in my opinion that they even drafted Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. Like
yes.
it's It's absolute
Joke.
disrespect. Yeah. But here's my thing. How do you go from Shedeur Sanders being listed as the number 4 quarterback on the depth chart, and then in your first preseason game he's named as the starter? In my eyes, what that shows is that he hasn't been getting a lot of reps with the actual starters, but from what I've been hearing and stuff from like all the Browns officials and media people, that the reps that he has been getting, he's been phenomenal. So it's like I get that, but it's like he doesn't have reps with like the starters or like the second team or the first team. So that's already going to be a different set of circumstances for him heading into the preseason game on Friday. And then here's how I look at it: if he balls out, it's going to be good for him. But think about it: if he doesn't play good, that's just going to be an excuse for the Browns to just not continue to play him and just slowly try to bring him on. So
Yep.
he's good. He's going to be dealing with a lot of pressure. But here's my thing: Shedeur is used to it at this point. So,
Hmm.
like I've said from the start, I'm rooting for him, but I just feel like, given the Browns' track record when it comes to quarterbacks, I'm not really excited for, the way they've been treating him so far.
Nope, I agree. Everything that you said, I think he's being set up. It's the Browns. Let's
Yeah,
just be
they're
honest.
poverty.
There exactly. So at the end of the day, it's it doesn't surprise me, but there's an added side eye that I have with
Yeah,
them over Shador because they always are a poverty franchise. Let's just be honest. But this adds another layer to it, and
yep,
I'm looking at them sideways because that's what it feels like. It feels like they're setting him up for failure, and it's because of who he is. It's because of who his dad is.
facts.
Lots of people don't. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care how controversial it is. A lot of people don't like the fact that he's a kid who knows who he is. His dad is, as you and I were talking earlier today, his dad is Deion Sanders, perhaps one of the greatest, if not the greatest, football player to ever put on a helmet.
Facts.
Um, and I hear, oh, he's cocky, he's arrogant. You know what that means? It's simply him being confident, and the fact that he doesn't say, "Oh, I'm just so glad to be here," and I came from the hood, and I just want to play football. That's what they want him to say. That's what they want to hear. And so there's always that narrative. Well, because he doesn't talk that way, because they act like he's privileged and he doesn't appreciate it, then we're going to teach him a lesson. But at the end of the day, Shador will come out on top.
Yep.
The cream will rise to the top, and he'll have an opportunity to really showcase what he does. He'll have to fight through adversity, like again, not anything new. Warren Moon, Doug Williams can talk about it. Again, I don't care how controversial this is; it's the truth. Even in 2025, a lot has changed, but a lot hasn't changed. So I'm rooting for him, and I think he'll do well if given the opportunity. So I'll end with that. We're going to shift over to the NBA. A topic that you and I are very, very pleased and happy about is that Luka signed his 3-year, $165 million contract extension with the Lakers, and he looks to be in crazy shape. So, yeah, your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I know we're going to start talking about the NBA and like our like our award predictions, all of that heading into next season in a couple months. But I'm gonna go and tell you this now: Luka Doncic is my pick to win MVP this upcoming season. It's that simple. Here's what I'm gonna say: like the fact that he's actually taking it seriously. They said he started working out literally the day after we lost to the Timberwolves in the first round of the playoffs. So it's like to hear that, and it's not like we're just hearing this behind the scenes. Like you see the result. He was on the front. He went from being the laughing stock. Oh, he's out of shape. Nico Harrison talking about he was out of shape and he didn't take his body and his health seriously to being on the front cover of Men's Health. So it's like you get what I'm saying. So it's like
Yeah,
I'm really pleased. Like all the footage I've been seeing of Luca, all the pictures and stuff. He's clearly slimmed down. He looks more lean, more toned, and that's what's scary. Luka Doncic was playing himself into shape and was still a top 3 player in the league. So now the
yeah,
brother's gonna actually come into an NBA season into an
in
NBA
shape.
season in shape. And here's the thing too: people aren't even remembering. Not only has he been working on his body, but he's now going to be back in basketball shape as well. He's about to play for the Slovenian national team. So
Hmm.
I'm really hyped for first off with Lucas signing that contract extension because you know me, ever since we made the trade, it was like, Luka Doncic has been able to get DeAndre Ayton. He was very integral in getting Marcus Smart, but pen wasn't to paper yet, so it's like he's technically wasn't under contract with us after this upcoming season. So I'm glad that Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss were able to go and work out that contract with him. And I think from all the reports that I've been hearing, Luka wants to be a Laker long term. And while I also like we're talking about it, trying to kind of, I think we are talking about this the other day. But what I also love about the deal is Luka Doncic is going to have a chance to get an even crazier contract extension come 2027, 2028. And then who else is going to be a free agent at that point too. And it's not happenstance that he actually declined his contract extension. It's Nikola Jokic.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I can see it happening in the next.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, at this point, given the Luka Doncic AD trade, anything is possible in the league right now. But I'm really happy that we're able to re-sign Luka, and I'm honestly over the moon and just really ecstatic about what the Lakers can actually do next year.
I agree. I really don't have a lot to add to
Yeah.
that one. It's going to be exciting to see. I just hope that the Lakers don't do him the way that they've done LeBron and waste literally years. Um, they got us around him with the right pieces. So
Facts.
if that Jokic situation turns into
Or
then
Giannis. Or
or
Giannis.
Giannis, absolutely. If they are able to go get one of those two, then yeah, just go get some dudes who actually play defense and can shoot.
Well,
That's all you need at that point.
I was just about to say, here's what I'll add. Even if they can't get a Giannis or a Jokic type player, if they can get good complementary pieces and role players, like Luka Doncic literally took, it was him, Kyrie Irving, and the rest were just supplementary role players like PJ
Hmm.
Washington's of the world. It's like the formula is give him a lob threat, give him somebody that can protect the rim, and then he also needs to have like shooters and three neat guys to your point around himself. I mean, Lord knows if we can get a Nikola Jokic or a Giannis or somebody like that, like an all-star, superstar level type player, like one of the top 10 players in the league, I'm all for it. But even if you can't, I still think there's a path for the Lakers to actually win a championship with Luka Doncic, if they just continue to make the right marginal moves as well.
While we're on the Lakers,
Mm-hmm.
Austin Reeves contract extension talks. I think they're in the works, and I believe now, given that Luka signed this 3-year
Yeah.
deal, we should. I'm saying the Lakers should be able to give him what he had been asking for. Because I know, man, listen, his agent was talking sideways early on, um, but it seems as though, given this extension that Luka has signed, the money is actually there to give him
Oh, yeah.
essentially what he wants.
Here's what I'll say. The reports I've been hearing is that he's either going to get anywhere from $30 million to $35 million a year on the contract. It could be anywhere from 3 to 4 years, more than likely. I think more than likely it'll probably be 4 years if I had to
Yeah.
guess. Like I could see a 4-year, $120 million contract, and I think that's a great move for both sides. But here's what I'm gonna say. We don't have to give Austin Reeves that contract until this upcoming offseason. So it's like this is also going to be a proving year for him as well. But you
Yes.
know me, I'm a huge Austin Reeves fan. It's like I think he actually complements Luka well if he can just play a little bit better defense come playoff time. Same with Luka, but I think Austin Reeves is the perfect like backcourt mate to pair up with Luka Doncic for the future. So I hope
Uh,
that Austin Reeves has a really good year, and I hope that they can go and put pen to paper pretty soon.
Agreed. One last topic in the NBA, and then we'll shift over to the WNBA. Mikal Bridges signed his 4-year, $150 million extension with the Knicks. I think it's a good move.
Yeah,
Bottom line is the Knicks showed this past year, even though they fired their head coach, which you and I predicted was going to happen.
yeah.
Um, I think that this is a good move because another year in that program, another year in that organization, you could tell he was beginning to feel comfortable. So the fact that he signed that extension, he now knows where he's going to be. I think he can play a little bit looser. He'd even try to change his shot. Granted,
Yeah,
we
you remember
know
he started off the season. I was like, Lord have mercy, rev up those fryers.
it was not good. I was like, did he change his jumper? It was not pretty to begin with, but now it's even worse.
And in the playoffs, he was
Um,
huge for them though. Like especially
that's what I
defensively, he guarded Tatum. He was knocking down his threes. Like he was huge.
exactly. So the fact that you've now like locked him in, he can, for lack of a better word, he can sleep at night
Mm-hmm.
knowing he's going to be there long term. And I think you'll see a significant jump this upcoming year with how he plays and how he fits in with the team. Getting used to playing with Jalen Brunson and Cat. I think it's just a really really good signing for them.
And here's what I was going to say real quick. Um, we got to give a huge shout out to Jalen Brunson as well. I know Mikal Bridges is because people forget. Brunson took that massive pay cut. Like he left like over $100 million on the table. So I don't even think this Mikal Bridges deal happens if Jalen Brunson doesn't do that. So shout out to him. It's like he's really sacrificing so that they can try to actually build a championship roster.
Yep.
But this is actually going to be a big year for the Knicks, though. It's like you fired your head coach. You have all these players like Cat, OG, Jalen Brunson, all of them under contract. It's like if you don't win in the next year or two, they could be split up just as quick as the Celtics were this past offseason. So
Yeah,
we'll
Mike
see what
Brown is. I
happens.
mean, he's coming into kind of a heated situation. I
Facts.
mean, like you can't be on the hot seat when you just became the head coach, but he
That's
might
probably
actually
what's
be on
going
the
to be.
hot
Yeah,
seat.
like if they have an underwhelming season, they might go and get him up out of there after one season. The Knicks don't play.
Absolutely. No, they do not.
No.
So, all right, shifting over to the WNBA, and we can kind of do some quick takes with this. Um, the Lynx, my God, they took them out to the woodshed. What in the world? Like, jeez, where, like, did the Aces forget that they're an actual professional basketball team? Like, 50 points?
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. Your thoughts? I don't know what to say.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Um, First of all, I was shocked because I'm like the Aces. In my eyes, were still a championship contender. I know they're like the 6, 7 best record right now in the league, but I'm like on paper, you still have easily the second best player in the league right now, Asia Wilson. You still have Chelsea Gray. You still have some solid pieces, Jackie Young, Jewel Lloyd. I'm gonna be honest with you. That Jewel Lloyd Kelsey Plum trade might go down as one of the worst trades in WNBA history. Because at the time I thought it was gonna be good, but Jewel Lloyd, you like my fire. She has been terrible. I'm just keeping it a stack with you. She has been terrible. But here's what I'm gonna say. Huge shout out to the Lynx, and we've been saying this for the last month or two. They're my favorite right now to win the championship. They should have won last year if the refs didn't practice voodoo and didn't have parlays on the game. But I think this year is actually the year that, barring health, and if they're completely healthy, I think the Lynx are going to actually end up winning it all. But here's my biggest takeaway from that game, and it ticked me off. The Lynx coach, why in the world was Nafisa Collier in the game when they were literally up 50 plus points on the Aces? She literally hurt her ankle, rolled her ankle, and now she's out for the next 2 weeks. So, we've seen that in the past, but it's like, how in the world are you up 50 plus points and then you still have a superstar in the game? It was just, it's unacceptable.
Agreed. I don't have a comment about that. I really don't. I don't. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, since we're still talking about the Lynx, Dejanay Carrington,
Yeah, I can't believe it.
what in the world?
I mean the
The
rich
rich get richer?
get richer exactly. I just don't. And then even in her first game last night, it's like 13 points. She had 2 steals, came in, played really good. Already looked like she was able to fit into that system immediately. And it's like now I know Nafisa Collier is out for the next like 2 weeks, but it's like now you have somebody that come playoff time you can put on the best guard on the other team and just have her clamp up. She's one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire W. So I still can't believe they're able to get her via trade.
Agreed. No comment. Kayla McBride is on a tear.
Yeah. Speaking of the Lynx, Kayla McBride, she's literally shot 8 of 8 from three. In the last like 2 games that she's played. I mean, literally that game against the Aces, she didn't miss a single three. She was absolutely just had a straight burner. She just couldn't miss. But like I said, it just adds to my point. It's like even between Courtney Williams, Nafisa Collier, Kayla McBride, now you add Dejanay Carrington. It's like barring health, the Lynx are my favorite to win it all.
No argument there. And the last WNBA topic for today, the Sparks have won 7 out of their last 8 games. What's going on there?
They have been on an absolute tear. They were able to win their game last night against the Fever. It was a really good game, and I think a lot of it has been due to the fact that Cameron Brink's finally back. It's freed up the court for De'Erica Hamby. Kelsey Plum has been on the tear. She's still averaging over 20 points and over 5 assists a game. And then the one that's really stepped up her game the last couple weeks has been Rakia Jackson. So like she's been getting 20 plus points games like it's nothing. So huge shout out to them. And I'm like, the way that they've been playing, they could honestly sneak into a playoff spot. Quiet as kept. So huge shout out to the LA Sparks.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap up this week's episode of the J&J podcast. As we always do, just before we close out, moving the needle. Jameson, what is your moving the needle for this week?
My moving the needle is actually just going to be simple as I'm just hyped for that college football and the NFL is starting up again in the coming weeks. So, I just can't wait to be sitting on my couch on Saturdays and Sundays, drinking some hot cocoa and watching just good football, man. I'm excited for it.
Yep, I'm excited for football season too. It's going to be interesting. My moving the needle. For those listeners who know, I'm a Carolina homer. And the Tar Heels got some good news that Luka will actually be on campus next week. Championship. Uh, so yeah, have been waiting to get news on him being able to get clearance from the NCAA, all that stuff. Um, and he's cleared everything and apparently will be on campus next week. So looking forward to how he fits in with the Tar Heels, what that rotation is going to look like. Obviously, this is, in my opinion, a make or break year for Hubert Davis, but I think he actually has a good core to work with. So Luka Bogovac coming in, excited about that. So that's going to wrap this week's episode of the J&J podcast. We appreciate everybody listening in. We'll see you next week. Same bad channel, same bad time. Peace.